All right, guys, what's going on? Goofy Rexy here, and hope everybody is doing well. And I had this topic in mind and wanted to talk about it here. Obviously, we've had the whole weekend to sort of lull over kind of thoughts towards the game. The game is in a little bit of a low right now with just like the recent exploits and the stability of just being able to log in the game. A lot of players are still reporting crashes and things of that nature. So definitely some things that the game is struggling with right now, but I also wanted to talk about the fact that we potentially could be entering into one of the best chapters right now for Marvel Strike Force. There is definitely quite a few exciting things that we receive from the most recent blog posts that to me, I definitely look, after taking the weekend and looking over things, I do feel that there's a potential here for a lot of good things to happen, especially for players who are looking for newer content, for the ability to be able to theory craft. There are definitely a lot of opportunities here where Scopely and where the game could probably take a positive trend or could go in a positive way. And definitely for me, one of the standouts is definitely this new game mode that's coming into Marvel Strike Force. So we know they mentioned this here in the recent blog post that there's going to be a new PvP mode. Now, we know that the last PvP mode that they introduced into Marvel Strike Force, being RTA, not great. Wasn't great. We didn't really feel that good about it. However, that's kind of not been phased out completely, but it's a little bit less. You don't have to do it as much. So it feels better from that perspective. Some of us still have the residue of RTA, but now they're introducing this new PvP mode. This looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, originally it was supposed to be called Grand Arena, Grand Tournament, right? That we're going to be calling it that, and they changed it over to Cosmic Crucible. Most of us are probably just going to end up calling it either CC or Crucible. But it looks like a massively fun game mode that might add a little bit more of a spark to the game. I know this is something that I'm definitely looking forward to. I know that the playtest is started for this, and that players are probably going to be there's probably going to be some feedback coming out soon in regards to that. But the reason why I do like Cosmic Crucible and why I'm excited about this is because it's a little bit different than something that they've done here in the past. They mentioned that there's going to be this 8-person bracket matchmaking system, a Swiss style tournament, which is pretty much basically like a knockout tournament from my understanding of it. But one of the things that kind of sparked my interest was them talking about these rules, these global rules that will grant certain bonuses to all rooms. And you're going to also have these different room rules that will grant specific bonuses or apply restrictions to combat any certain room as well. So for me, the way that I view that is that and this is something that was directly said in their video, is that there is going to be, from the Strike Time video, that they wanted to make sure that this was going to be sort of like the same teams going against. You're gonna be seeing the same matchups that you probably see in Alliance War, or same matchups that you see in other formats of the game arena. But they're kind of going to be. They want to make sure that you have a little bit more thought in terms of being able to craft these teams and put them together and find different combinations, take advantage of the buffs based on whatever the buffs are, putting certain teams there that where another team might try to use that counter against it. So it kind of gives you a little bit more strategy. And I think that leads, in my opinion, to a lot of ways of making the game a little bit more fun. So I'm definitely think that there's really a large opportunity here. Now, the one thing that I will say is that I do think that to a certain extent that this means that you might want to probably look at some of these newer teams that are coming out in the game, because most likely, right, they're going to be building out these newer teams with the idea that you could probably use them in the in Crucible. So probably going to want to pay attention to that and probably start saving, looking at your inventory right now, farming those G14s that are probably on the lower side, so that you can make sure that you can upgrade some of those necessary teams that you will need to do tournament. I also do Crucible. I also do like too that they mentioned that this is going to be a game where you get to kind of log in whenever you want to be able to get it done, that there's no specific time restrictions to it. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be more incentive to build your roster. The caveat, though, is the fact that there's probably not as many resources available to do so. But I guess this is more something that you have to look at, where you get to do it over time. And of course, building out that wider roster will definitely benefit you in some other areas of the game as well. But this has the potential to be really good. It's just a matter of how do they implement it. Hope it's not something that they implement in the ways that they did with RT. I hope that they really can learn their lesson from that, and kind of moving forward, that they'll do better moving forward here. Now, the next thing for me that also got me a little excited was hearing about MSF, and this is something that I've been excited about ever since they acquired or took on the guys from MSF.GG and made them a part of their team, or made them a part of Marvel Strike Force, or Boundless Entertainment, I should say. The MSF store, and then also their Marvel Strike Force page. The MSF store, talking about that first from Marvel Strike Force. It's been fun to kind of go through here and use it. I do like the events that they've added here. Basically, I'm doing regular stuff in the game. I'm doing my arena attacks, my raids, my blitzes, and I'm able to climb through some milestones here. And these milestones are giving me sort of different resources that I can use. Like right now, Celebrate the Web. I'm able to claim this right here and get these launch party fragments. Now, this is probably something that they're only going to be doing for this time, but the web store I think is kind of cool. I'm going to be able to claim my 1,000,000 gold right now. That's going to pop up in my game, and here I'm able to grab that 1,000,000 gold that I definitely need to upgrade my roster. And from those orbs too, I've actually been getting some pretty cool things. But if they continue to do the web store like this, then I think this is something that's going to definitely be a positive thing, or positive trend in Marvel Strike Force, if they continue to kind of tie some of these events where you can get some nice little free stuff, where you can use that to upgrade your roster, upgrade your characters. I definitely think that there's a lot of really good value there. Only thing that I don't like is that you cannot use Amazon coins. Don't like that, because I like to save some money here, right? 18 to 20% I save every single month by using Amazon coins in the game. So I don't know if there's a way they can implement that into their web store. Would be nice, but overall right now I do like the web store. Kind of curious as to why they implemented the new web store. I'm assuming it's most likely something that has to do with them probably not wanting to renew Google Play, or the new Play points in Google Play. Probably has something to do with it, but keeping in mind that this is probably something that they've had in the works for quite some time. This is not something that they just decided to just do in spring, right? They've been playing this for a while. But the other thing for me with MSF.GG is that they did mention this thing right here. We still have the intention of following through with the development of API to eventually allow importing of player profiles to MarvelStrikeForce.com and MSF.GG. And I know that this is something that a lot of us have been asking for a while. They've mentioned this again in the blog post. This is something that I think would really advance their game quite a bit, being able to look up players from an alliance standpoint and see what their rosters look like, being able to kind of manage your roster online and kind of move things around, maybe do efficient planning a little bit that way, like how you were doing with MSF.GG, but being able to kind of have that API where that software, both systems, or both the website and the game system, are talking to each other, I think really makes for some really good things that could happen here. So that's something that I'm extremely excited about, if they're going to be able to implement that sometime this year. Now, they didn't mention that they're going to be able to implement that this year, but it is something that they did mention here in their blog post. And for me, that could really, like I said, could really propel and could really advance their game, at least just from a management perspective and from an alliance perspective. Just being able to move the game forward in that way, I think would be really good for them, and something that I'm definitely excited about. But also, let's talk about the thing that they talked about at the very top of the blog post here, which is the Age of Apocalypse and introducing these legendary horseman characters, and or horsemen that are going to be legendary characters in Marvel Strike Force. I think this could be really exciting, especially being that they did mention down here in this statement that this is going to be a new story, that it could be anyone, that could be any of the horsemen. So that means that it probably doesn't even have to be mutant characters. That could be horsemen, part of the 4 horsemen for Apocalypse. Now, obviously, we would like to see some of the most iconic, or some of those iconic horsemen characters be a part of the horseman team for Marvel, for the Apocalypse team, or be one of the horsemen. Would be nice to be able to see that. However, I'm also okay as well with them sort of going their own way and then creating their own story, because I think that makes it a little bit more unique. Yes, I like them to follow the comic canon, but at the same time, I do like to see new things as long as it's implemented correctly and implemented with style. I am 100% okay with that. But this new mode, although I am concerned about the rank leaderboards with the Scourge event, I do like the fact that they're kind of giving players flexibility with being able to participate in events like this. So previously, before, you had to get XYZ characters to participate in a legendary event. You had to get XYZ characters to certain star levels in order for you to be able to compete in game modes like this. But they're now opening it up to where pretty much essentially all players who at least have the higher difficulties, you're gonna have you're gonna have to have specific characters, right? For the first iteration of the Scourge event to unlock the first legendary horseman, you're gonna have to have web warriors or dark hunters at those higher difficulty levels. But they are now opening this up more so that more players can actually join into these Scourge events and actually participate and be a part of it. And for me, I look at that as something that's very unique for them to do. And obviously they see the importance of, how players feel about Apocalypse and the legendary horseman, that they're probably doing this in the event. They're probably doing an event like this. So I do like that they're actually putting a little bit of a different spin to it and make it a little bit more fun and exciting. Now, there is a concern. We don't know exactly what star levels you're going to be able to unlock these characters at. However, like I said, I think that this opens it up a little bit more for free-to-play players, for players who are not high spenders, to be able to participate. The rank leaderboards do concern me, but overall with the event, I think that because they're doing something like this does make it a little bit more open. And for players who really want to challenge themselves, then you have these higher difficulty settings that you can increase it to. You have the scourges that you can add to make it a little bit more challenging for these events. So for me, this, like I said, this could be like a really good thing that could be exciting and challenging for higher end players, but also giving earlier play or free to play players an opportunity for them to still get a legendary character without having to have the star requirements, because that within itself is usually challenging enough. So there's a lot of really good things that they're doing right now. They made some changes to Elite 6 orbs. They talked about increasing some gear, making gear a little bit more available down here as well. Some economy improvements and some I like I said, I like this new game mode. I like the Avengers Tower game mode. I like Pocket Dimension. Really, in my opinion, like I said, ushering now into sort of a newer chapter in Marvel Strike Force that could ultimately be one of their best yet. It's based if they implement these things right. But let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Curious to know if you guys are probably thinking the same way. Are you still kind of just fed up with everything that's going on? That's also fine too. Just curious to know where you guys are overall with everything that's going on right now. And do you think that maybe potentially this could be their best chapter that we've probably embarked on in a long while? I'm not gonna say ever, but in a long while in Marvel Strike Force here. Like I said, appreciate you guys so much always for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the video. Leave a comments down below, guys, if you have any, just so I can hear what you guys have to say here. Check out the links, join my Discord, look at my Patreon, support me on Patreon as well. Check out Amazon coins. All the links are down below, guys, in the description. Appreciate you guys. Until next time, y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. Deuces.
I like where it's going, where this is